people sit there, yeah, I'm gonna straight up emulate. Nothing nobody can do about it. Okay, bro, you act like nobody sees this, dude. People are going to prison for stuff they tweeted. Like, dude, this is admissible in court.
And I've said it before. Everybody does it. Does that make it legal? Everybody does it. Doesn't make it legal at all. It
doesn't make it legal.
So they're like, well, emulators are legal. Yes, they are for very specific reasons.
Yes, the old argument that piracy's emulation. Those two things are completely different and are not related to one another. Piracy is like promoting a website where you can get movies for free or something that you can, and making sure that that's all it can do, and that it had no other function to begin with. Which is also partially why so many legal loopholes are used with actual piracy. That's the only reason a lot of piracy can't get through it, so that's technically right, but yeah, there's still a lot of wrong with this, there's like, what's wrong with it is the fact that they explain it as ripping or things like that is a heavy, crime, like you're committing armed robbery, theft, or you're selling methamphetamine on the streets. Something like that is how they want to perceive emulation as. Emulation's none of that, and even emulations used by copyright holders such as PlayStation, Xbox, and even Nintendo use emulation nowadays, because that's easier to run their old games. So if they want to run on their newer platform, they have to emulate it. Wow. Amazing, right? That now emulators are being used by the companies. I mean, if it's such a big issue, why they use it? To start with. But regardless, besides that, companies are now starting to use emulation, kind of validating one of their later points. That's really rude. Here, I'll play the next clip.
I just found this NES cartridge. Remember this? Hold on. Can I? It says right here on this part, you can't even see it. On this part, right here, yep. It says, and I quote, "This game is licensed for Nintendo for play on the Nintendo Entertainment System."
So even then, even though there's no encryption on NES games, right? Like you just dry rip them and you're not really breaking anything to do it. As long as that copyright holder still exists and they push for it, you are playing the game in a way that the copyright holder didn't originally intend for you to do, and they can still take you to court for that if they want to be petty. We're talking about, and Nintendo is a licensee at that point. They didn't even quote unquote make the game; they just licensed it for their platform. They're like, "Hey, you over here playing this third-party game on the system that's not designed for our system." So,
okay, so you showed a old SNES cartridge that. What's it supposed to represent? I don't know if I'm missing the point of this, but I don't get it at all. Yeah, you're showing a legal document there, but Nintendo already uses several emulators to emulate their older games to begin with. Same with Sony. That's the only reason you can play PS2 games on the PlayStation 5 now, actually, so the fact that you have to use an emulator even on the fucking platforms themselves, and it's the same emulator you can download on PC for free with every single step that shows you all the steps required to set up a game. Like, one of my favorite emulators personally is the OPCS30 emulator, which anyone from back when I was live streaming has seen. Seen I use that a lot in between it. I live stream on Twitch. But emulation isn't piracy, man. Far from it at all. Like, it's not even close to it. Emulation is trying to simulate an older game by ripping the code. Which, yes, technically you can break encryption. You can avoid breaking encryption too. But in general, when you emulate something, you have to go through the encryption or modify the encryption so that way you can install a mod. And none of that's illegal. If any of it was illegal, why is modding allowed either? Do you believe that modding should be considered illegal? You can mod on consoles too, and technically speaking, most mods do indirectly or directly break encryption depending on what file you have to attach the mod to. So why would modding become illegal too? Is the point I'm trying to make is that modding and emulation are quite similar because you have to change the code. And if one of them's not illegal, then clearly the other's not illegal either. Both of them require you to modify the code slightly so that way you can do something the game wasn't originally designed to do. Which doesn't bother the copyright holder because that's not breaking copyright, that's modifying it. But it's not like you're selling it either, unless you're giving it out for free. Something like that has to be done for free. That's why you never see paid mods, except for sometimes on Patreon. That's like the only loophole around making paid mods that exists that I know of. Legal loophole. It's a bit fucking stupid, but it's fine. I mean, there's better free mods normally that exist, or will be better free mods with a certain game later on. Especially when the modder community decides to make a mod for the game. But overall, at this point, it's really fucking stupid. Like, yeah, they might be the copyright holder, but they even use some of this stuff too. Is the funniest part about this. Is like, the company uses emulators so that way they can emulate old games on their newer hardware for their fans. So are they pirating the games now? Because they're emulating it too. Are they? Well, let's just see what else they have to say.
People should have done
specific reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, though, how will you use said emulator? Because you gotta get a game to play it, right? How do you get that game? Oh, well, I'm just gonna say, well, you can't download it, right? We know we can't do that. So how do you?
Where'd you get this ISO from?
Well, I'm gonna rip it. I'm gonna use my tools and rip it. Well, that's breaking copyright, sir. What do you mean it's breaking copyright? It's my own game, and I bought a copy. Yeah, but what did you do with it?
Did you bought a license?
Did you break the encryption on it? Is the copyright holder still alive as an entity? Is it past 75 years? Is that copy protection that you just circumvented? I need you to read the law. Now, again, I'll say this again, just like I said on another podcast. Show me the law that says you can break encryption.
Yep.
For anything other than research purposes.
There ain't one. Trust me, I know there ain't one.
It's explicitly written, like it, and the only exceptions are approved directly by the Librarian of Congress.
Okay, so breaking encryption's piracy, right? That law only applies to movies. You know that already, right? You actually read thoroughly knowing that the law was mainly invented roughly around 1800s. That law was probably closer to the 1900s. I'm pretty sure that's when discs became really popular, and that's when they started to get rid of VCR players. So I'd say probably around 1999 or 1998-ish. Maybe even 2005 or so. But roughly that law has been around for not too long, and that law mainly only applies for discs or DVDs, for CDs or movies. Not really video games specifically. That's a different type of media, and it gets just like that with I can't remember what the case is called, but really the Piracy. I think it's one of the bigger tech companies under a console's name that was doing the lawsuit. Can't remember a specific name, but I do recall that that company that made it has a record of being assholes to other companies. But I mean, that's the same with most of them. Or they act like children when things don't go their way, which a lot of people do in general. But no, emulation is not piracy. This isn't pirating the game. He already owns the game. And oh, he broke encryption? Oh no. What, do you think the FBI is going to break down his door? They explain how to do that with the emulators. They don't cut to black. And the ones that do are just doing it to show off their game that they were emulating. They're not actually making a tutorial. It was clickbait so that way they could, get actual views on this piece of shit platform. Otherwise, no, they in detail show everything. on Steam Deck, or if you're using Linux, which Linux is better for emulating and modifying code anyways than Windows. Linux is the best one for that. And Apple, I guess, the only thing they have is a clean look on their computers, pretty much. And a few nice little features that you can live without and will adapt to if you just use Windows. I personally prefer Windows and Linux as my main software for reasons like you said. But no, if you break encryption and it's your game, it's still your game. It's not like they're gonna have police go into everyone's house and go, huh, did you break the encryption on that game? Oh well, you gotta go to jail. It's illegal, you're committing a crime. You gotta get a felony for that. That's a felony or some shit like that. To just use a product that you bought in a slightly different way from the manufacturer. Which then I've already explained that that's just kind of a moot point to claim that the manufacturer doesn't like emulation, when if you actually check the Nintendo eStore on the Switch, their own software designed for, I think, software that they use for a lot of their older games are emulators, like for the Game Boys and shit like that. They use emulators on the Switch as well. So I mean, if it's such a big issue with emulation, then why does companies such as Sony and Nintendo and Microsoft all use emulators? I don't know about Microsoft completely though. I'm pretty sure they don't, that their games are actually just backwards compatible. But I've used it a few times with the Xbox One X, but I'm not sure which way they do it, because it feels more like they're emulating it and only rely on Xbox's cloud service, where they can keep the classic Xbox Live still existent and have a use those servers instead of letting them collect dust. I feel like that's what's actually happening, so it's not really the console itself running it. It was the case with Xbox Series S and One X, or Xbox One S, but I don't think it's the case with the Series consoles, if I remember. But I could be wrong. But I know I'm not wrong about that not being piracy. That's not piracy to break encryption on a video game if you're not distributing it. It's the same thing with the law on CDs. It says it's okay to break encryption if you're not distributing it. If you're a consumer, now if it becomes a government database, that's another different case where it's illegal to break that encryption. But the two things that are technically not illegal to break encryption are movies, music CDs, and also video games, as long as you're not distributing the product or making copies and selling them. If you own the copy of it and you own the product, it's your product. As long as you're not giving others free copies of the product you own, it's not a crime. And the company itself promotes doing that, like Netflix used to do with the sharing passwords thing, and how now they're cracking down on that. If you're not in the same house, you can't share Netflix passwords anymore, which is fucking retarded. But basically what they're saying is that if one law says that's illegal, do the same. And also they're misrepresenting the part that mentions what breaking encryption is and why it can be a problem. They completely gloss over that, and why there is a law in place, but that law doesn't apply to emulation, or if it's your own movie and you're just trying to censor a part of it. It doesn't apply for that. They're not trying to apply for going, oh yeah, you gotta watch out for this. Or this could be a factor within it, making it a legal gray zone. No, they just whine about how, oh, you're breaking encryption, you're committing a crime, look at this criminal, you scumbag, why would you do that, why would you commit this crime? It's fucking stupid, and you're not breaking law by breaking encryption. As long as you're not selling copies of the game, or giving out free copies, it's not a crime. Alright, let's just play the next part. Let's see what else they think is a crime. Because if simply wanting to play your game on a system that has been modded to allow you to play the game, such as OPCS3, that's a good emulator I would recommend, or Yuzu. What was that one for the... Oh yeah, Citrus emulator. There's also a Dolphin emulator for the Wii. There's another one for the Wii as well. That also works for Wii's and... trying to think of all the names of the emulators right now. It's taking me a minute. But, yeah. That's just such a dumb fucking point. Like, what? What are you talking about breaking encryption for? And why are you leaving out details? Alright, well, next part. Next look.
We're talking about the legality of this and how you can buy a game and do this, blah, blah, blah. Ask yourself. This YouTuber is super popular. They have all this money, blah, blah, blah. They got lawyers on deck and everything. Why don't they show the entire process of them ripping a game and putting it on the system? They always cut the black and they show the game already on there. They never tell you where they get these ISOs from if they pull them from somewhere else. Why? Why do they avoid that? They big YouTubers. Some of them got lawyers as big as Nintendo's. Why do they avoid doing that?
Yeah, they do show all of it. They show how to break encryption, how to set it up. Because guess why? It's not illegal to do that. Not in the context of a video game. If it was in the context of breaking into the Pentagon or distributing movies illegally, such as if you decide to, I don't know, buy a copy of a classic Star Wars film, and because there's no disc copy of it, you decide to make a bunch of disc copies of your own and start selling it, and the copyright holder doesn't approve you selling those copies, yes, that, in that case, that is illegal and that is piracy. But in the case of you bought the product and you just want to make a copy for yourself and personal use for the CD or disc, that's not illegal. Or like if it's for a family or a sibling, that's not illegal. It's completely different from that. Because that's still your product, it's yours. You're not just giving it to random people, selling it on the street going, hey, this is the new Star Wars, or something like that, and then they find out, oh, they got ripped off, and they actually just bought the old Star Wars from some random guy on the street, or something as such, because those things happen. That's an actual case of piracy, you know. They don't own that product anymore in a sense, because they have extra copies that they never bought. At least the copy they already have, but they're selling it. That is a crime. I've seen people do it. It's a pretty stupid crime. I mean, there's better ways to make money than ripping every game you have and reselling it, but that used to be more common, I think, in 2013 or so. But that's actual piracy. That's actually committing a crime. Versus ripping a game and putting it through an emulator so you can play on your computer. That's not a crime. That's just you making it possible for you to play it on your computer, which is more powerful than any console that currently exists. Most computers, anyhow. Any computer within the 30 series, pretty much. That's like, I think, a 3070. That's like the limit to completely beating console's power, or 2090. Because I think they're limited by the 2080 Ti with OTX cards. Not by actual name, but by similar numbers. That's also the same with the SSDs, like all of it is behind now. Still. I mean, they tried at least. They gave it a good effort to get ahead, but they still end up being behind PC gaming, which doesn't personally surprise me. Well, yeah, that's what this is all about, really. It's not about the legality of it, or breaking encryption is illegal or not. Or them, you know, not showing it, making it to where the tutorial obviously is fake. That's a fake tutorial. You're getting fucked over if somebody's not showing how to do all the steps, which means that they're either upset about not getting to see all the rest of those steps so you can emulate the games they like to play, or they're upset because it somehow hurts consoles to, you know, have them branch out, or for them to use emulators themselves as well. Because I mean, if that's the case, that means Sony and Nintendo are committing crimes right now. Right now, currently, they're committing piracy, apparently, because I'm pretty sure Sony uses the PXR, or PX, I can't remember the full name of it. It's PS2 emulator that I've used to. I'm pretty sure I use that emulator for the PlayStation 2 games, I don't know which emulator it actually is, but that's the best emulator I know of, so that's why I think it's that one. But then again, I couldn't remember all the games that they were showing, but I know that was an emulator that Sony is using, and does that make them the criminals, is the real question. Is Sony now going to get arrested because they decided to emulate their games because their hardware didn't properly support backwards compatible games from a different platform generation because they didn't set it up like that. They didn't use the old OS whatsoever, or try to build upon it, which would have been a good option. That would have actually increased my likelihood of wanting to genuinely get these console kinds by heart. I'm not planning to buy another console. The PS5 is the last console I'm buying. That's what I've done. They've been too fucky for me. But especially with retards like this who believe piracy and emulation are the same exact fucking thing. They're not. They're two different things. This is completely fucked here, man. Besides retards trying to gaslight people into believing emulation is piracy, let's see what other points they have to, make a semi-decent argument, to the least. See if they can make that.
That is not a winnable.
If it's legal and you can buy a copy and it's automatically legal, why don't they show you all of that from start to finish? Why don't they show it? They skip just that part.
Mm-hmm. Because they're not winning that case. Yeah. They're not gonna win it.
That's just strange to me. But it's always been they were always waiting in the wings, looking for an excuse to jump on. That's the whole anti-Nintendo train or anti-Microsoft or anti-Sony train. Like, we need to emulate these games because look at what they're doing. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, you act like, and that's why I made the post and told people to go mow grass. I'm like, you act like the operating system you use to run said emulators are a good company.
Well,
out of all these companies, only one of them has been sued for antitrust multiple times by the federal government.
Yeah.
Only one.
Yeah, only one. And it ain't who you think it is. But the thing that I find hilarious is like the people that be calling people corporate slaves and mad about corporations, but have two packages from Amazon.
Oh. Well, you said before, they do show it. They show every individual step. I swear they've never actually watched a tutorial video about the Steam Deck or OPCSU or I don't know what else. There's also the Citrus emulator, which not only does it show you how to rip a game or things like that, like you can find that out pretty easily without breaking the law, because it's not a crime to do that if it's your own copy. If you own the product, you're not breaking any law. Now, if you're selling and distributing the product and you own the product, that can technically be breaking the law because that is piracy to create extra copies and distribute them. That's the case also with selling free ROMs. Not technically selling, but giving out free ROMs is also illegal. But regardless, you can still find out easily publicly too. And I'm pretty sure because of even schools I've been at, I know that they pirate a lot of their movies that they have. I'm pretty sure the government doesn't really give a shit about piracy anymore. Even though I found a CD at my school that had at least 15 pirated movies on it. A lot of what they're gonna go over is any further, it's not really worth covering much. I've already went over the main points they had and over just complete BS that have nothing to actually do with the law, just that they do not like emulation, and they don't want to admit that that's the real reason that they're upset about this. Either way, if you're here now, which you probably aren't, but if you are, consider the following. Leave a like if you've enjoyed this content, and you don't think that emulation is piracy. Leave a dislike if you believe that emulation is just robbing developers of their content. And maybe consider leaving a comment. That will always help me with boosting my video into the algorithm. And if you want to, you can check out my second channel. I'm planning to make some videos reviewing some games. That might be interesting. And I'm also gonna make a few other videos today, just because I haven't been able to because of issues with my internet. Which I'm hoping nobody's actually fucking with the internet, it's just that they're moving the towers. I'm pretty sure that's all it is. But, well, we'll see. See you all later.